Welcome, everybody. My name is Melanie Harwood, and I'm the co-founder of eduCCate Global. Now, on the 22nd of April, 2019, Denise Meisner and we dared to dream, we dared to rock the boat. And we had pitched this idea to the United Nations, the Director of Planet, Angus Mackay, and 30 UN agencies that all fell under UNITAR. And we said, we are going to launch the climate change teacher course. And he said, no, you're not. We said, yes, we are. We are. Hello, Denise.
Hello.
And we were audacious enough. We flew over to Geneva. We pitched every hour on the hour for about 4 days. No kidding, no kidding. They wheeled them in and wheeled us out, wheeled them in. And every time we had to start again, every hour, saying to all these different agencies, yes, this is what we're going to do. And they said, it's not possible. We've done all this research. We've tried to get into schools. They just don't want to know. Well, I think that they realized that these two little old ladies were not going to go away, and they had to somehow get rid of us. So what they did was they gave us these lovely little lapel badges and a nice little postcard, and we had a nice photograph with them, and they said, if you can get this into 80 schools in the United Kingdom, well, then fair play to you. All right. And what we did was we donated to the UN, and we paid for this gorgeous joint portal. And we took a hardly known website with these UN courses on it that were meant for developing countries' regional governments. And we said, we're going to repackage this and call this the Climate Change Teacher Course. And I think they must have been sniggering, thinking, God, these little old ladies, this just ain't going to work. And we launched it at COP24 in Katowice in Poland. I mean, why he even gave me tickets, I don't know. But anyway, we got ourselves a live press conference, and I've still got it, folks, before they asked me to remove it. And he's kicking me under the table going, 80 schools, Harwood, 80 schools. That's it. UK only. Well, we launched on the 22nd of April, 2019. Nothing happened. We learned how to use Twitter, direct message, and we harassed and harangued all the head teachers we knew, and it just took off. After 1,970 schools, we had a phone call saying, turn it off, switch it off, Harwood. It's got to go. And boy, do Denise and I wish we'd listened. But we didn't. You know, sometimes if you dare, you just have to go roll with the punches and get on with it. And an amazing young lad called Tim Collins joined us, and he helped us build a closed curriculum portal, and he helped us build a support desk, and we employed a team of 7 abroad, and they all work in shifts. They are still with us, and they work 20. We have these rolling shifts 7 days a week, so that our support desk is always monitored. And then the teachers came back and said, "What's next? We don't understand how to teach climate change." So he said, okay, best we create an inset training, how to teach climate change. And we did that. And then everybody came back and said, okay, so what do we do now? Now that we've got this inset training, where do we go with it? So Lisa Pugh dropped this email in my inbox and said, I've got this thing called the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And I don't know, you know, do you think you might be interested? And I looked at it and I just thought, wow, this is what I've been looking for. But then lockdown hit. So I had to wait for that to be lifted. And I waited outside her gate as soon as lockdown ended. And there we were with a camera crew and lighting crew. And we said, hi, Lisa, we're here to film the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And she said, who are you? Why are you here? Can we phone the Devon Constabulary, please? Anyway, we filmed it. We built it. It's taken us a year. Lisa does the research on it. But what it means is that our teachers in our schools, our Bronze Award schools, because now the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge is mandatory, because we have to have that tangible action, that evidence that shows that our teachers in our schools are engaging. And this is where our partners are coming in, Blue Castle, that I'll be introducing you all to in a moment. And the lovely Alan Green has brought them to us. And he's busy negotiating with Blue Castle. They've got all of their contacts around the world are going to be joining us after April, because we're going to be even more audacious, if one can be. And then we have John Bunzel here with us from Simpol, who's going to be, and Robert Cobbold is going to be building a new GCSE with us. Now, what happened was, Asha Alexander, the head teacher of GEMS school, they've renamed it now. It was the kindergarten starters. What is it now, Denise? I can't remember. Oh, you're muted. It's okay. Can you remember the name?
I can't remember. I've been off.
We'll find it. We'll find the name. They've rebranded because they're now going to be a school going all the way up. And she said, so I've got all these teachers that are climate change teachers, but what's next? And I started doing courses with Cambridge University, Oxford University. I went and did the Al Gore Climate Reality course. And then this incredible sage entered into our lives. Petra Moulton-Hill, she was late. She came into the climate reality training. I think it was about 3-4 days in. And everybody had already paired off. You know what happens? They get in these WhatsApp groups and they start packing. Well, everybody had their pack already. And Petra sort of came and she said, hi, I'm the new lady in town. And we said, come and join our gang. And boy, were we happy that we did that. And Petra told us about her carbon literacy training that she was delivering to professors and CEOs from big businesses around the world. Petra's a professor with Nottingham Trent University, business school. And I asked her if I could do her training, and she agreed. And I loved it. When it ended on the Friday, I was distraught. I said, this cannot be. I have to do more. And I said to her, you can't end this. She said, it is, it's finished, it's overdone. Harwood, get lost. And if anybody knows me by now, that just was not going to be the end of it. And I didn't harass her, I mustn't use that word. So I emailed her and the professor in America, and I said, I've got this great idea. You're going to deliver this to the eduCCate Global Awards schools. And they went, yeah, right. We might be able to speak to you in about 3 months' time. And I thought, no, that's not going to work. And I emailed and I harassed. And then I said, look, if you need a facilitator for any of your training, right, I'm it. And I think they must have had low numbers one training session, and I managed to sneak in. And I managed to speak to all the professors. There were 162 professors from around the world, and every breakout group there was. I said, please, can you have a word in Petra's ear and beg her to give us this opportunity to trial us with our schools. Eventually, Petra had a meeting with me after one of these sessions, and she said, Melanie, you are starting to grate on me. I can't do this anymore. Okay, what do you want? What do you want from me? I'll consider it if you promise to leave me alone. And we said, please, please, can we do the carbon literacy teacher training? And she said, well, who's going to facilitate it? Because we normally have professors facilitating. And then the idea was, why don't we get university students to facilitate? And Petra advertised it with the NTU Green Academy, and Connor Davey signed up, and Manon and Chloe, and a group of uni students joined. And that was just the best thing ever that could ever have happened, because that vitality and that energy of the youth that came into the mix was magical. And then I had to convince a school to do the training. I mean, you'd think that I'd have the school ready, wouldn't you? But I knew that Claire Robinson of Home Grange, she was already on it. She'd already come to me in the lockdown and said, my school's going to do bronze and silver. And I said, no, 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 Claire. Most schools just do bronze. It takes them a couple of months. She said, no, you don't know my school. And then what happened was we had this Zoom with Claire and her staff. And I don't know, which teacher was it, Claire? Was it you who said, don't even think of stopping her? And I said, folks, lovely to meet you all. It's not possible. You're going to do bronze. And I think Claire was like, Mel, it's when Claire says you're going to do bronze and silver, it is. So I thought, okay, so there's another one like me out there. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect somebody with sharper elbows than I have. It's true. And I contacted Claire and I said, you know, you've done bronze and silver in record time. We've got the gold award and we found it. We found the training for you, the entry point, the carbon literacy teacher training. Are you in? And Claire said, I'm in. It was the most incredible, empowering 4 weeks that I've ever experienced. My back gave out. The stress was immense. I was bedridden. I was begging someone to take over. But it didn't happen. I had to just get through it. And this team just excelled. The university students that came in to facilitate, Petra was training them on a Thursday for 3 hours, and then she was delivering the CLT training on a Monday. And we had Sophie building Padlet training, guiding us through. We had Connor, what were you? You were helping us get all of the chats and everything, because we didn't get full behind. Petra was telling everybody, you know, this is how it works. We were going through it. And then Robert Mackay, who's unfortunately not here today, when we saw the En-ROADS training, we just sat there dumbfounded, direct messaging each other going, have you seen this? That's transition engineering. We got to meet this guy. And then it was all over. And I just thought, oh, that's a bit of a bummer. I thought this was going to carry on forever. And Petra messaged us and said, I've had such a great time. And I now see that for us to get into schools around the world, we need to build this properly. And we worked through the Christmas period and all of January, and we applied for the EU Horizon 2020 funding. And if any of you academics out there know what it's like to apply for a funding bid, I'd rather give birth than ever do one of those ever again. It was hard work. And on the day that we had to put the funding bid in, the EU Horizon system crashed, as it does. And Denise, we were all lying on the floor crying and screaming and wailing and flailing, saying, we can't go on. Denise just sat there trying to click through. And she said at 7 p.m. that evening, she said, I'm in, y'all. We were like, wow. It was like someone stuck an adrenaline injection into my heart, and 2 paddles brought me back round, and we just steamed through it. It's the most amazing bid, and we've attracted a lot of attention. And what we are now doing is putting together a transatlantic consortium, an Arab League 22 consortium, and an Australasia consortium. And we are going to be looking at potentially doing research on the power of delivering the cross-curricular climate curriculum. eduCCate Global's main goal is to deliver something called MAT: mitigation, adaptation, transition, transformation. The bronze and the silver award are mitigation and adaptation. Those are the foundations for our schools to be prepared, where we upskill teachers and they set up their leadership teams. They have a sustainability and climate literacy leadership team, and they prepare, they start paving the way for remapping that school's curriculum. And you're all going to say, why on earth would you want to remap a school curriculum? Because if any of you haven't noticed, if you haven't seen your news feeds lately, we have something called climate change, and it's actually a lot worse than that. And when Petra starts teaching you about carbon literacy, when she goes up to that next level, which is that transition training, you start realizing that you have to do so much more on a personal level, but also on a national, regional, national, and statewide, worldwide level. And at the end of the Gold Award, we will be introducing the En-ROADS teacher training, which Homegrange School will be taking part in. And hopefully these uni facilitators, these certified carbon literacy teacher training facilitators will also be taking part in that. And we are working on the build of 6 new GCSEs. This is a global education reset. One of those is called Rebuild Economics, where we will be looking at the Commons Fair Shares process of going back to the future. And that is with Professor Graham Boyd and Professor Jack Reardon from Stanford University. We'll be working on a new GCSE with John Bunzel of Simple and Robert Cobbold. And we will be creating a transition engineering GCSE. Now, for those of you that are abroad, we have year 6, year 7, 8, and 9 here. Then we have year 10 as a GCSE. I think 11 and 12 is our 6th form A levels. And the idea of eduCCate Global is to upskill teachers so that they are the creme de la creme of climate literacy, carbon literacy, transition engineering, transformation teachers, so that they can guide not only their pupils, but all stakeholders in their community through the process of upskilling themselves up and onwards to provide the skills that are required and desperately needed globally to pivot the situation that we are in. We're not heading towards anything, we are in it. We're in it. And what John Bunzel has come up with is something called Simpol, and we would like for that to be taught in all schools so that we can have that simultaneous policy making globally. Because if we are going to be developing the leaders of tomorrow as they are at Homegrange School, that is the way forward. There has to be this switch that we all turn on, and in one day globally, we ban plastic everywhere. Done, gone. Next on our list. Anthea Fenton has created the most incredible emotional literacy training. And she is working on the research and development of that. And she calls it Empower in an Hour and Write Your Own Story, because we know that the outpouring of emotional grief that happens when we start learning more about the climate emergency, we can get quite depressed. I mean, I had a meeting with the MIT team the other day, and they showed me on their, where on their data, where we were on that graph, that we would hit 1.5 degrees in 2029. I was a basket case for 3 days. I mean, and I know this stuff. I know it inside out. I lay on the couch. I just lay there thinking, that's it. We are, I won't use the word. That was it, going around in my head. And then eventually on the Monday morning, I got up and I said, no, it ain't gonna happen. You know, you ain't gonna get the better of me. Ain't gonna happen. Not when we've got this crack team here that is just gonna absolutely rock the world. And what we now have is we have a team of the greatest and the best, the leaders in the planet. We have the likes of Joanna McFarlane, who is one of the most forward-thinking, creative biologists I've ever had the pleasure of. Joanna's been building the Wild Planet Explorers program for children aged 3 to 9, and then the older children from 9 to 17 or 9 to 18. Am I right? Yeah, it's 9 to 18. And that has been a year in process. These programs take a year to build. And Francisca has just joined us to assist us. She's brought in a team of more than 100 scientists, biologists, and climate activists that are going to be partnering with Claire Robinson's school, Homegrange School. These scientists and biologists are writing press releases and are going to be interviewed by Claire Robinson's pupils, because as a Gold Award school, you get your very own media portal, and you can write press releases that are sent out to more than 1 million journalists around the world. Because when we start training up our teachers and our pupils and our parents with these life skills, these amazing media and marketing skills, magic happens. And then we have Robert Cobbold, who is going to be building games, gamification on climate change, and all sorts of amazing lessons that he's already been building for I think it was the Green Schools, and he's coming on board to revitalize, because the one thing we know here at eduCCate Global, we're not here to build lessons. That's one thing we're not here for. We're not here to build lesson plans, folks. We are here to upskill teachers, and we are here to develop the finest programs for those teachers to deliver those to their pupils, to upskill not only the pupils, but their entire communities. All stakeholders must be ramped up. And a fantastic example of that was Claire Robinson, the head teacher of Homegrange School, has sponsored a film called 2040 for 8 state schools in her area. So this shows you what does happen when a school starts learning more about this. They do the Bronze Award and prepare themselves. They get their foundations ready. They do the Silver Award. They have more leadership teams throughout their processes. Then they've done the Gold Award, the beginning of the Gold Award with Claire Cox and Leanne Hughes. And they have started remapping their curriculum. And then something magical happens. And Claire Robinson emails me her school's strategy, her entire teaching strategy and ethos for the next 3 years. And it is to turn her school into the leading sustainability and climate and carbon literacy school in all of the UK. It's groundbreaking stuff. These are exemplar schools. So if that's what they do after lockdown, then I don't know, I just want to see what happens next when they start learning and MIT content and everything else. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you all. I hope she's here. We did a Zoom training earlier this week on that you must never ever, when you're in a Zoom, you must never ever hide your face, your video, and so it's always going to be on. But I'm not having a go at anybody here. So Petra, if you're there, or maybe you've just been, she's there. Petra, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us. Please don't tell everybody that you've decided that you're not going to work with us anymore. Just tell them all the amazing, amazing stuff that you've been up to. I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah. Okay, no, thanks very much, Melanie. When I was listening, I thought, oh, I can't speak without my tools. You know, I have nothing to share. Also, I'm normally better when I can share something on my screen. Also, so I have to just speak freely to you all now. It's a pleasure to be here. welcome to everyone, and it's really great that we have gone this far. So if you don't know me, my name is Petra Moldan-Hill, and I'm professor at Nottingham Business School, Nottingham Trent University. And until recently, actually about 20 days ago, I was also the lead of the Green Academy at NTU. So I was including sustainability for 8 years across the whole university. So whether it was astrophysics or chemistry or all the other topics we have at the university. So my team and we were trying, and they are still trying, to embed it into everything students learn. So we have been on this journey for 8 years with regards to all of sustainability, and also with regard to climate. We have done it also for actually 10 years already, because I have been before active in this regard with greenhouse gas management only with the business school, but then since 2012 for the whole university. So we have been on this journey for quite a long time. But I'm really, really pleased that with the carbon literacy training, as I think it was really quite amazing, because I was actually with this Al Gore training, I was pondering whether I should go or should not go, because it was my holiday and I nearly had no holiday last year. And I thought, I'm not going to a training on my holiday. Yes, it's climate change, I go on the training. No, I don't go on the training because it's my holiday. So I was going back and forth. And then as Melanie said, on day 3, I decided, okay, let's go. I really want to see what Al Gore is doing, and I want to really compare notes and make sure, because I always compare notes with everyone else who's doing carbon literacy training, to make sure that I have all the best elements in my carbon literacy training. So I went there, and I'm glad that I did, Melanie, because as you say, I suddenly came into this room and Melanie was saying, okay, if you don't have anybody, you can join me, okay? So it was quite a nice coincidence that we met there at this Al Gore training, and that we then actually developed. From there, things have developed. And I think I would also like to really, I don't know, where are the students actually? Are you all hiding as well? Because I was actually giving a role model by hiding, but you know why I'm actually switching off my video? Melanie might not like it, because maybe it's against the Zoom training you had, but it saves carbon emission. Do you know this? So if everyone has their video on, it actually causes quite a lot of carbon. And because obviously I'm talking about always reducing carbon, I feel, okay, if I'm not talking, I switch myself off and save a bit of carbon. Like I always try to save a bit of carbon here and there. So this is, I think, why I was on that you couldn't see me. But maybe also if the students could actually now switch, they have done this now, because I was actually looking around where they are. If you could, maybe it would be actually, Melanie, is this okay if they all say shortly hello? Because I think it was really a nice training, because they were all there, and I think from working with students my last year, I think it was a highlight of my life working with you guys at before December. I think I really enjoyed working with you all a lot. So I mean, if you could all, is this okay, Melanie? If they all say hello?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and over to you. Maybe shall I call you out in the order I see you? Connor, you are first on my order here, which I saw.
That's what you get, Connor, for going up on LinkedIn. Yeah, you're first, dude.
I won't hear the end of that, will I?
No.
Yes, hello everybody. Yeah, my name is Connor. I know some of your faces. Yeah, I was one of the last people to get a place on this project. I really didn't know what I was signing up for, to be honest, but it was a great privilege to be part of this, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks for having me, and it's great to hear all the stories.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks, Connor. Then Chloe, you are next on my screen.
Yeah, hi. I don't really know what to say. I didn't prepare anything, but it's been a really great opportunity to work with everyone. I've really enjoyed doing it. And I've also, because I've said this before, I do environmental science at uni. So I kind of thought, oh, I already know all about this and I can teach other people. But little did I know that I'd only scratched the surface, and I learned so much. And it was, yeah, just an amazing opportunity. So thank you very much for letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks, Chloe, for all what you gave as well. Thanks so much. And so the next one is Sophie on my up there.
Yeah, I think I was the same. I didn't really know exactly what it was. And I didn't really understand if it was supposed to link to my uni degree or anything like that. So I was like, oh, I'll just go for it, see what happens. Nothing bad could have come out of it. And obviously I've learned so much. I didn't really realise what like a personal level of impact I could actually have. So it's made me change a lot of my personal, not necessarily daily, but definitely weekly decisions I make consciously of trying to reduce the impact of climate change and that. Yeah, and it's been an eye-opener for me, definitely. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sophie. And then there's Justina.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, yeah.
Hi. Sorry, I joined late.
It's just to say hello to everyone, because I was just telling everyone how much I enjoyed working with you all, that it was for me really the highlight when it comes to teaching this year, teaching you, and then you obviously were immediately doing things kind of, so it was teaching on the job kind of, and I really enjoyed the time with you, and I just said if you could all say shortly hello, so it's enough if I put you on the spot, Justina, if you just say hello, that's it.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, just say that. Let's see if there's. I think I saw one. But she must have good, because the people unfortunately have lessons at the most time. Not everyone. Ah, doch, Manon, there you are. Manon, do you want to also?
Hi. I just came in. I'm sorry, I had a little meeting with my tutor at university.
Yeah, do you want to say, as I just was saying to everyone, just to shall you say hello, kind of, and because I was introducing you all, because you were really one of the key highlights in December when you joined us to do the visa facilitators.
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm a student at NTU doing international business. I'm on my final year. I'm doing a double diploma with France, and this experience was great because it was an intercultural experience, but for me it was really amazing meeting all these people and learning about carbon emission was really really important for me, as I want to do a master in sustainable development and carbon emission control. So yeah, it was a great experience to train as a facilitator.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much. I think I have not missed anybody. I'm clicking here through my little. Did I miss anyone? No, I think this is all the people who are there. Oh, Julian, hello. I'm not asking you to introduce, you're not one of my students, but it's nice to see Julian as well. So Connor, I have had everyone. I've not missed anyone who was here. Oh no, I had Sophie as well. So yeah, no, I have not missed anybody. Okay, so then thanks so much for joining us. And I think now it's over to the schools, because I am actually really curious it was fantastic to have you all on board. And it would be lovely to hear what has come from it, how you actually experienced the whole training, and maybe all the plans you have maybe put in place since December as well. So it would be lovely to hear from the schools as well what has happened.
We ask Claire. Claire, are you there? Maybe Leanne or Claire Cox?
I'm happy. Is Leanne there too? Leanne, do you want to do it together? There she comes.
Sorry, I'm here.
Hello.
Hello.
Leanne is our sustainability lead for the whole school, if that's the correct title, Leanne, is it?
And design and technology teacher.
And design and technology teacher. Would you like any other titles today?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so we started our journey, Melanie, with you last summer in the middle of our holidays with the UN courses, and in that conversation with don't set down the gauntlet of saying she can't do something, because we absolutely will. But that was brilliant in the summer holidays. And then whenever we started the course with Professor Petra, that was fabulous. And what was really lovely was making use of the online, and the fact that we didn't have to travel anywhere. So that was sustainable in itself. And it was at the end of our school days. And like Sophie, I loved what you said. And that's a really good philosophy for life. Nothing bad can come from this. And, we say to the children, take risks and have a go. And to know that, Sophie, that's fabulous. And I think I'll take that line with me for a while. But Leanne is our sustainability lead. I got a lot of it out of it personally, and making a lot of changes in my own lifestyle. I'm collecting my rainwater for my plants in the garden, and really considering lots of different changes. But I'm going to hand over to Leanne, because she's our sustainability lead. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the students. You were incredible. it was lovely to work with you, and thank you to Petra and to Melanie.
Yeah, I think I echo Claire there, and we had, I think for me, it's just really good to have a really good grounding and understanding of what we're trying to do in terms of our own knowledge and understanding before we can then go out and help the students really come to grips with it all. And here we're in a really lucky position that everyone's up for it. So we just keep pushing on through. And we've already done quite a lot of different things on site. And we've reached out to some other schools, and I'm going to go and investigate some biodomes next term. Very exciting. And we've got our student community here are trying to grass as many roofs as they can on site and different things like that. So, but it's all brilliant because they're going to set up a competition where they need to go and work out the load bearing capacity of the roofs. There's loads of maths, loads of science. So in terms of curriculum, it's very easy for us. And I think because of the way we're looking at it, it's not a case of, okay, then, so how can we deliver this in maths? It's not really like, it's like, this is sustainability. This is the climate emergency that we're facing. What do the kids need to know? How can we empower them? What can we do? And off the back of the movie that we watched, some students actually videoed their concerns because we wanted to find out what they thought first before we showed the movie. And, you know, heartbreakingly, some of those kids are really concerned. They've got genuine worries. I think the biggest one that got to me was, but what if it's only me? What if it is only me that does this? I can't do it on my own because the planet needs me and needs us. And it was very, you know, it was beautiful. So then we put together this loop after we watched the movie and sort of hoped to allay the student fears. So if they'd said that they weren't doing it, and then no, we put a Zoom shot of all of us online because there was something like, I don't know, 500 of us on this Zoom link. So with the idea to show the little ones that actually we are listening, we are hearing you, we are doing things together, we are a community. And I think even though we're doing very little things as well, like at home, on a personal level, then on a school level, then on a community level, and then eventually on a, you know, global scale. So these things can be upscaled. I think that without this training, without the training that we did at the beginning, I don't think we would be as far forward as we are. So thank you guys. Thanks for that.
We've also involved our parents. So not only are we educating the children, we've also set up meetings with our parents, and we meet with them in line with our sustainability planning too, which has been great.
I think this is great because I was hoping that you would engage the parents as well, because obviously this is where you can be a big multiplier as well, that you can go into all the different disciplines and everything what they are doing as professionals. I think you can have a really big impact there, and this would be great because hopefully we can, I mean, for the people who don't know the carbonacy training, I think the focus is very much on climate solutions. So I think for me, it's really important that we don't just look at the science and the bad things happening, but that we actually, at the moment, we still have the chance to turn it around, that the focus is very much on how can we upscale the high impact solutions fast. And this is really what I focus in the training. And I think this is really, as I think is why I like it so much, it goes to all the schools, because I think you're such big multiplier by reaching all the kids, and then the kids will tell their parents, and then the parents hopefully will tell other people in the community, will go back to the business they are working in or wherever they are and tell everyone else, and hopefully you will reach loads of people this way. And I wish you good luck with it, and I'm really pleased to hear that things are already happening. And I mean, I did hear whenever Melanie talks about you, I can hear that there's so much happening. It would be great if every school would be acting like you. I think we would be having kind of rocketed ahead kind of already, but hopefully people will do soon. So I think this is really nice. Thank you so much. And maybe if the other people would like to add something, because I'm really curious what happened since December. So if there's anything else to add from the schools.
Claire, can I ask you, I don't know if Claire Robinson is there. Claire Robinson and I, we're WhatsApping each other, and I'm like, guess what's coming? She says, I want it. And I said, but you don't, I haven't told you yet. And she says, I'll have it. I said, but we haven't built it yet. You're going to have to help me. So Leanne, Claire Cox, and your team I don't quite think she's told you yet what she sort of like roped you in for, and I can see Leanne's going, "Oh no!"
No, I think we kind of we've got a little bit of a gist of it, which is going to be fantastic. Claire's actually delivering the Easter service assembly, so she's not necessarily able to join us for the whole thing. I don't know when she's finishing, and we've got to go. I personally got to go at 3 o'clock for mine. But yeah, I think we're pretty much up for anything, but you know, we have got a day job as well. Mel.
I didn't hear that. Didn't hear that. So, Leanne, what's next is going to be Petra and I working with Professor Florian Kampmeier from Reutlingen University in Germany. And we've been started looking at translating the En-ROADS training into an En-ROADS teacher training. So Homegrown School are going to be leading on that. I've discussed it with Claire Robinson already, and your school will be working with us to help us develop that. So, because at the moment it's a training which is for ambassadors and facilitators, but we want to design it specifically for teachers. So Robert, I see you edging for the door. Ain't gonna happen. We're gonna rope you into that one. And we've got something really exciting happening. We met an amazing chap who tracked me down on LinkedIn, Alan Green. And we had this meeting and he said, "Have I got the folks for you, Mel?" And I was like, "Okay, what you got, Alan? What you got?" And he introduced me to the leadership team of Blue Castle, who are a recycling and waste management company leading in the United Kingdom. And what we are going to announce in April for Earth Day, because seeing as we launched our climate change teacher course on the 22nd of April 2019, and we closed it on the 31st of December 2019. Then COVID hit last year. What were we doing last year? We took our sort of pedal off the metal and we just got our heads down and we just built. We just worked on honing our training and our content. Well, this 22nd of April 2021, Denise and I are going to personally sponsor every state-funded school in the world to the tune of value. The sponsorships is valued at £1.9 trillion. And what we're going to be doing is included in that sponsorship, Blue Castle will be providing every school that signs up for that sponsored training with us. Blue Castle will be offering every school a free carbon footprint assessment for their school, fully funded. And what we're going to be looking at is how schools, we're going to be doing research with schools and looking at how schools can become recycling hubs for their communities. And any money that is made from this project will go back into funding the schools doing the Bronze Award, the Silver Award, the Gold Award, having the Transition Engineering GCSE, the Simple GCSE, Rebuild Economics GCSE, and all of the other amazing stuff that comes with it. So I've told my team to start taking everything offline because I'm quite sure some climate deniers are going to hack into our systems once they know what we're up to. So our lovely, lovely Carlo, who is the backbone of our team, if we did not have this admin support, these unsung angels, Anthea calls them empowering angels, without our empowering angels, Denise and I would never, ever be able to fulfill our dream. And our dream is to upskill 100 million teachers in the next 12 months. and it can be done. We know that it can be done because when we first launched the crazy idea of the climate change teacher course, we signed up 349,000 schools in 43 countries. So yes, it can be done. And now that we have honed our practices, and now that we have partnered with Professor Moulton Hill, partnered with Dr. Julian Ung from Warnborough College in Ireland, who's going to be working with us on the competences, because we have to prove that we achieve the 8 core competences. We're not going to put Julian on the spot now to ask him what those are, but I'm sure that if he wants to tell us, he can, you know. And we've been looking at why education systems around the world have struggled. We also are partnering with University of California, Irvine. They are going to be building, or they've started building, the Peaceful Planet teacher training, which is part of our Platinum Awards. Anthea is building the Empowering Angels and Write Your Own Story, which is it's going to help the children, their parents, their family members cope with, because we discover that a lot of people suffer grief when they start learning this. And we need for them to tell those stories, because we are going to be ancestors, good ancestors. And we want everybody to remember our stories. We want them to remember our stories. And Lisa Pugh, who's been helping us build the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge. And boy, this has not been easy. This has not been easy at all. And Joanna can attest to that as well. But it is these leaders that joined us at the beginning, these fearless individuals, Homegrange School, that took it upon themselves to be the very first school in the world to have certified carbon literacy teachers. You are the first. Leanne Hughes, one of the very first certified carbon literacy teachers in the world. Claire Cox, first. Claire Robinson, first. Everybody, my mother used to say to me, I mean, this just goes to show my upbringing. She said, if you ever come second, Mel, don't even think of coming home with that second thing. Nobody remembers who comes second. If you don't come first, don't tell me about it. So it's like, it's been ingrained in my brain. First in the world. Anthea, you have an amazing, amazing team that you have been preparing for us in the background. And we just want to know, what have you got that's about to be whacking us all on the head when this is ready? What have we got?
Oh gosh, what have we got? It's great to be here and to see so many wonderful faces and to be part of this celebration of absolute genius, because Melanie's a genius, and pulling all this together, bringing us all together to work together is huge, because not many people do that. And it's great to hear Leanne and to hear Claire showing how sustainability in schools, and some of the things that you've just said about the children leading, that is so important. That, you know, when I started school, I went in there and I just knew I was not going to compete. And right from there, for the last 50 odd years on this earth, I knew that I had to bring something to this world that was about getting our emotions, getting our true sense of self, building our confidence, our self-esteem. And so this emotional intelligence tool is built in a game, and it'd be great to hear and for Rob to hear about that and to experience that, for everybody to experience it, because it's about tapping into the inner child, that inner child that has lost their innocence because of the way that our world has been. So what we do is we all get back down to our core in a very adult way in many ways, because the kids get the game. The kids are kind of like, they just fly with it. And it's very much about breaking down all those different layers. Sustainability is so important on so many levels. But for me, when Mel invited me to come and talk about what I was doing, I didn't really see sustainability. I didn't see it at all, because I was so focused on the individual human being and just communicating and connecting and finding out, who are we? How do we all work together without getting that conversation going? And the impact that the people that play the game have is quite remarkable. And what they're doing is telling their story. And I know that, I think Connor had mentioned that about hearing stories today, and also some of the students that have been talking, and especially Sophie, who had talked about the impact that sustainability is making on an individual level. That's what we're talking about. How do we all connect and share this vision that we can all work towards on a transatlantic level? So that's what we've been preparing behind the scenes, is helping people to tell their story. Some people for the first time are sharing things that they've never spoke about before. And what we're doing is raising leaders, natural born leaders that lie within us. But unfortunately, we've kind of like been dampened down a bit. So Melanie's energy is great because it's very rare. And so if we're all like this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just going to be absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for being here, and well done, everybody that's here, for stepping up into the unknown, because that's what this is about. So thank you so much, Melanie.
Thank you, Anthea. Robert, you're going to tell us a bit about the prisoners. Come on, I'm just going to let you go for it. You've got 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, first of all, I just want to say, Anthea, that sounds really exciting. I would love to see your game and how it works. For me, if you can put a lesson into a game, it lands with people forever, because ideally you haven't told them anything. You've just led them through an experience until the truth of what you're trying to get across is entirely self-evident. So that's what I've done with climate change, to basically design a game which puts children in the position of companies or nations struggling to make the right decisions when there's competition with other groups going on. And in the end, children come to the conclusion all by themselves that it's impossible to solve these problems without global cooperation, which is where John Bunzel's work with Simpol comes in. And they end up coming up with really, really high level systemic insights like, wow, we needed better information to tackle this problem. And that kind of perspective, I think, is as sorely needed by the next generation who are going to be facing these challenges as it is by teachers and adults themselves when teaching about these issues. So I can't wait to get started and see where it all goes.
John, would you like to give us the speed dating version of Simpol and why it's so important with what we're doing with eduCCate Global in our schools?
Yes, thank you, Melanie. I would, and it's just lovely to be part of this group because my background is certainly not in education. It's actually more in business, but I think it's because of that I came up with this idea of the simultaneous policy, Simpol, over a Sunday lunch with my kids, because my kids were studying climate change at school, and so they were talking about it over lunch. And after the dinner, my mum turned around to me and said, well, John, what would you do about climate change? And thanks to a few glasses of wine that I'd had over lunch, I suddenly realized that, well, nations would have to act simultaneously, because if at the moment, no nation can move first, because any nation that moves first or significantly first will risk harming its economy. And so the net result is nobody moves, or they only move very, very slowly. So it's a little bit like a bunch of old English gentlemen outside a colonial hotel with a revolving door, and they're all saying, oh no, after you, no, please, after you. And this is the dynamic we have in the UN climate negotiations, where we all know what's necessary, but no nation can really move first because they all fear, that others won't move. So Simpol is a framework for all nations moving together on not just climate change, but all sorts of other global problems such as nuclear disarmament, which suffer from this revolving door, nobody wants to move first, prisoner's dilemma. It's a term from game theory, where nobody wants to move first. And so the idea is simultaneous implementation. The second part of Simpol is combining multiple issues together in negotiations. So what a nation might lose on one issue, it can gain on another, which makes action in every nation's interest. And the third and most exciting part of Simpol is that, and this is what the collective action side of it, where all of us can get involved, students, parents, everyone, is by signing up to Simpol, we're actually telling politicians, you know what, I'm going to be giving strong preference at all future national elections to politicians that have signed up to implementing Simple, to the probable exclusion of those that don't. And by that simple method, we've already got 100 members of the UK Parliament from right across the party spectrum who've signed up, who've signed the Simple Pledge. We've got a number of members of Parliament in Ireland, in Germany, in the European Parliament, in Denmark, Australia. And so the campaign is sort of rolling out. So the idea is how can, alongside all the individual and local actions that you've all been talking about, how can we connect with the global political level in this very simple way to drive our politicians, parties and governments towards the global cooperation necessary, not just on climate change, but on COVID, on any of these global issues now that threaten everybody.
Thank you, John.
That was a long elevator shaft, wasn't it?
That's amazing. That's amazing. I can't wait to start teaching that. I'm going to read out the first certified carbon literacy teachers and those that have got their certifications from Manchester, from the Carbon Literacy Project. Anthony Cluett, Kaya Ladd, Chloe Bottomley, Claire Cox, Claire Robinson, Connor Davey, David Boynes, Debbie Russell, Edward Barker, Hannah Poland, James Harding, Joanne Hendrickson, Justina Anna Kogluska, Leanne Hughes, Lily Anna Woodward, Lydia Ball, Manon Elian, Robert James Kenworthy, Sophie Elizabeth James. You are the very first teachers in the world to be certified carbon literacy teachers. And those university students, you are the first university students in the world to be the facilitators, certified facilitators of the carbon literacy teacher training. The first. Put that in your pipes and smoke it. Okay? You can put that on your LinkedIn now, Connor. I will send you your certificate. You will have your pages. We've gone and built you. Denise and I and my team have spent weeks, the last 2 months, building you your very own pages to promote yourselves. We have had guest speakers. We've had fun and games. This morning our page didn't work and I said, isn't it funny? Everybody else's we put all this effort into and our own one doesn't work. Denise, what is that telling us? So we are looking forward to announcing all that's coming, the new eduCCate Global LMS, the new learning portal. We should probably, I mean, maybe this is a bit facetious of me, we'll probably be having another party to announce that we got the EU funding, folks. Champagne! We will be researching whether we achieve the 8 core competences by delivering the Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge, Lisa Pugh, the Carbon Literacy Teacher Training, Petra Moulton Hill, En-ROADS Teacher Training, Professor Florian Kampmeyer. We're going to rock it. Blue Castle on side, going into every school in the United Kingdom to do a Carbon Footprint Buster Challenge, and let's find out what's going on. And Petra Moulton Hill, I bet you she wakes up every morning saying, why did I let Harwood into my life? I love you, Petra. That's it. Denise, thank you for putting up with me.
Can I add something?
Go for it.
Okay, I'm the occupational therapist. I can relate to Anthea, and I'm learning a ton from all of you, all y'all. So what I remember from my OT training is the medical oath, you know, do no harm. And I'm just really glad that you all are taking on that oath to do no harm to your planet, individually, by the day, by the week, by the month, whatever you can contribute. So despite all what everyone else is doing out there, because they don't want to be inconvenienced by new habits, you guys are the heroes, and I applaud you.
So Petra, would you, Dr. Julian Ong, you've come all this way. 8 core competences in 5 seconds, love.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Here's a cheat sheet.
Oh, Denise has got the cheat sheet for you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you've got the cheat sheet. Well, essentially, I feel like a charlatan coming on here because I didn't really do very much with climate change until I met Melanie.
It's Mel and Denise and Petra.
Oh, yes, and Petra as well, and Florian, and we were working on these projects together to try and link everything, this amazing framework that Mel and Denise have done with the carbon literacy training, as well as Florian's En-ROADS program, and linking that to the lifelong learning competencies that were developed as a framework or model for following by the European Union. And so we're very excited about that. But more importantly, too, we're trying to link it with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So it's been quite a challenging project, to say the least, but we're looking forward to taking it further and making sure that all of you will benefit from the work that we've put in. So congrats to all the winners today, and also looking forward to working with all of you in greater detail.
Now, what Julian didn't tell us was how he tried to convince us to step away from the bid. Do you remember, Denise? But Petra was...
He hung in there, and he helped us get it. He guided us through some of the
episodes. I tell you what, Dr. Ong, we are not worthy, because if it wasn't for you
so much
work packages, wouldn't have happened. And Petra was like, no, I think we can do this. And Julian's going, no, please don't do that to me. Anyway, we have
been a great learning experience.
But maybe if I can say something, I think Julian was really, I think, day and night working on this bit. So I think it was amazing. As a Julian, I think we wouldn't have made it without you. I think it was just amazing how you supported us, and I think it was quite I was not doing the days when we were on it, not fully sure why I said we should go for it, but I think we kept going. So I think the great thing is it is in, and hopefully we will get it, so we will see. But the good news is that I don't know if it is related to it, because I might have seen it from other work I have done, but I have been already invited to the EU competency framework for sustainable education for sustainable development. So they have actually made an expert group to make a competency framework for the EU on the whole of education for sustainable development, also not only climate change, which is on the 7th of April. So I was wondering actually whether that was someone who had read our application and thought, oh, let's put her in this group already, kind of, or whether it was related to other work I have done. But I'm really pleased that this is on. And I think the other thing which will be nice for everyone to know on this call is that on because I think obviously the students are going into university after they have finished their A-levels and everything. And what is really nice, on Monday we launched the QAA guideline for ESD, which is from the QAA and Advanced HE, which are obviously our big, for the universities, the big bodies which are looking after the quality assurance and so for the university sector. And they have both been very, very engaged. I was in an advisory group there. And the guide is launched on Monday. But what's the best thing is that they have said this is actually a guideline, so universities don't have to do it. They can read it and put it on a nice pile of paper, which they will never read again or something, or they can do it. It's not required. But what they have, because QAA and Advanced HE was so involved in really got more and more involved into sustainability, what they have decided is to actually make it compulsory for all the students in this country. So everything which comes into renewal, so because there are benchmarks for all the grades, whether you do a business degree or a degree in architecture or whatever. So whenever one of the benchmarks goes now into the revision, which is always a few every year, people have to integrate sustainability. And this is a big, big, amazing step. So in the next 3 years or 4 years, when everything gets renewed again on the university level, it will actually be written in as a requirement for all degrees in this country, in the UK. And I think this is a big, amazing step. And then obviously, if you can all prepare people great in the schools for it, it will be fantastic, because it will be picked up at the universities, and it's a big, big step forward, I think, for the whole. But my biggest, if I can say this, Melanie, hope is really because the kids, obviously, I would like to give them a good future, not to actually only ask them to make us a good future, but to give them a good future. And obviously this needs us as the older ones at the moment to do loads of stuff. And my hope for all the schools is really that they get all the teachers and all the parents involved, especially the parents, and that the parents are just making the transition which we need now in the transformation. This would be my biggest hope, and would be great if this would come out from all your work, Melanie and Denise and everyone else, that this will happen very, very fast, so that we have this transition of society very fast.
Absolutely. Thank you, Petra. Lisa, would you like to quickly say hello from your yurt? Lisa lives off-grid, so internet might be intermittent. Wait, let me unmute you. Oh, where's she? You need to unmute yourself.
There we go.
There you go.
The wonders of technology, hey? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, fab. Well, I didn't think I'd be able to make it today because we've nearly run out of internet, and as Mel knows, it's very frustrating, part of my off-grid lifestyle. Although I'm extremely sustainable, it is a bit limiting in terms of technology and the amount of power that I've got at the moment. But I just wanted to say what an absolute amazing ride it's been, Mel, working with you. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing, because without this, my little dream of being able to help all those kids who are in such distress over this, I mean, it was just heartbreaking. And that's what started me wanting to do something. And then, you know, you took them in. The rest is history now. It's kind of like we're moving forward in a big way, and I'm just kind of like, wow, I'm going to miss my wood for 2 years, that's for sure. When we go off and do our research, I don't know how we're going to cope. You're going to have to wrap me in protective stuff because of all the EMFs. I won't be used to it because, you know, I live in a natural environment 24/7, and yeah, it's going to be quite something. But you know, I'm on board. I'm with it because I'm determined to do something about this. And thank you so much for everyone who's taken part and done this training. I know it's been really, really hard work. And Mel, you have just been awesome, as you would like to say. So there you go.
Thank you, Lisa. So everybody, we're going to close. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you, Alan. You're the only one that didn't get a chance to speak. Come on, Alan, 5 seconds. Tell us in 5 seconds how we're going to sort things out.
Difficult. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, Harwood.
You do.
No, I just see the practical side of the carbon footprint coming from Blue Castle, involving the parents and business. We're doing case studies already on how we can involve the community with the school at the hub of that. And I think it will spread from the kids to the parents to the community. That'll be our commitment.
Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
What Alan doesn't realise is he's going to be doing that globally. He thinks it's just the United Kingdom. Sophie, Connor, Chloe, Manon, Lily, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for joining us. And for Claire Robinson, thank you to you as the leader, the head teacher of Homegrange School. You're amazing. And thank you to Petra for believing in us and for not telling us to get lost and for, you know, She must have thought these two crazy ladies, actually, no, this one crazy lady, you know, here we go. Thank you to everybody. We look forward. If you want to join us, we are building our transatlantic consortium. Petra doesn't know this yet. And if you want to join us, we are building the Arab League 22 consortium. Petra's going, no. 22 countries in the Middle East. Let's go. 66 universities, 180 schools with kings and queens and crown princes. Where is my crown prince from Saudi Arabia today? Your Excellency, you missed a great talk today. But anyway, I'm going to record it for you and send it to you in a letter. Petra, I love you madly. Your hard work, but so am I. Denise, thank you for putting up with me. I adore you. Without you, and Carlo, you're not here. Belle, Charmaine, Lowell, Dustin, my long-suffering husband, John, my dog, my mother, my daughter, Hannah Jane, who I do this for every day. Because without you, I would not be doing this. Thank you to everybody. This is the beginning. This is the first, and we cannot wait to do this every day of the week in every school throughout the world, because we can. Who's going to stop us, eh? Have an amazing day, everybody, and we will see you all on the other side. Bye, everybody.
Congratulations.
Bye.